Now for something completely out of my comfort zone. We're gonna be doing some paint work on the Bel Air. And yes, I've already done some. So it's almost in the stage to try to paint and fix my issue. But let me give you a rundown of what happened. So this is my 63 Bel Air, and it's been a great car. And recently, I had actually restored the engine bay. And after I restored the engine bay, I think I did some brakes on one of the vehicles. It was either this one or it was this one. And I had a rag that I had wiped up some brake fluid. Unbeknownst to me, I somehow put that rag on the hood. When I did, I left it there for a couple days too, which is even better. And that brake fluid that was in that rag pulled up the paint on the hood of the Bel Air. So for the last year and a half or so, maybe even longer, I don't remember how long, it's had 2 swatches of paint that were all crinkled up. Well, that paint eventually flaked off and got worse and worse and worse, to the point where I had 2 giant circles that were just primer on the hood chipping. Let me see if I can find a picture of that. If I can find a picture of that, you'll see it here. If you still see my face, I didn't find a picture of that. But I kind of dove off and said, you know what, let me try to fix it. And I didn't really film my progress on trying to fix it because I really don't know what I'm doing. But it somehow has turned out okay. So let me tell you kind of my process, and I have a couple follow-up pictures I can show you. But I had 2 spots that were chipping, like I said, and they were chipping pretty bad. So what I did is I took 200 grit sandpaper and I sanded around those 2 spots. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to have a nice and easy transition from good paint to bad paint. If I just kept trying to sand originally the 2 spots, and all it was doing is making that paint flick off and create a really hard edge. So by sanding around it, you can see that, I'll show you a picture real quick. By sanding around it, it really helped me have that transition, and then I leveled it all out again with some 200 grit sandpaper. From there, I prepared this whole surface with about, I think 200, 220 sandpaper, and I used some Bondo filler. And I actually have that Bondo filler out here somewhere. I might as well show you, just in case you ever wanted to do it. And I put a very small layer of body filler down. And this is the exact body filler that I used. It says if you put about as much as a golf ball amount down, you use your hardener about 1.25 inches, mix it all up, spread it all out. So I did that after I, prepped it with sanding, and it came out pretty good. So I let that harden, and then I came back with some 320 grit, and I lightly sanded that Bondo until I got a really, really smooth area. So I could tell there was no more transition from front to back, and that area was about like this. I'll show you another picture. And it came out pretty good. So then I prepped the area with 320 and 400, and I primed it. So that is where I am at now. Now I have to do some finish sanding, which I'm about to do, and get it ready to paint it. So in order to paint it, what I had to do is I had to go get some paint matched. So I pulled the fuel tank door off the car, took it to the paint company, and they blended me some paint. So here's fuel tank door, pulled it off, and they matched it. Now, I didn't think about this, but my buddy Nick mentioned that I probably should have taken the hood off and brought it up to him, which isn't an easy job by myself, to get that matched, because the horizontal surface gets more sun than the vertical surfaces, so it changes the way it paints and everything. So I've got to find my paint. I don't know where I put it. I think it's in my garage. But before I get to that, let's get to some sand in here. So let me show you guys what I got to start the sanding process. Now I need to reiterate, I am not a paint and bodywork professional. I don't really know what I'm doing. All I've done was do some research on the internet, and I've had experience of maybe painting some things back in the day, just a little bit here and there. I really don't know what I'm doing. If you're gonna try to take this on, please probably don't follow what I've done. I'm not sure how it's gonna come out, and if it comes out crappy, you guys are gonna see that too. So it is what it is. You know, I'm really not trying to give advice. I'm just gonna try to see if I can get it done, and if it works, and then you know, maybe to give somebody else the confidence to try to do it themselves with maybe mixed results as well. So anyway, again, I don't know what I'm doing. Wish me luck more than anything, but let's go over what I need to do to wet sand this thing. All right, one thing that I bought when I first sanded all this stuff was this awesome little soft but rigid sanding block from O'Reilly's. It comes in a kit like this. It was pretty fantastic because I was able to use it as a guide, you know, to hit the high spots until it met up with the rest of the paint. So that was really important because you don't want to use your hands, because your hands are going to put divots when you're sanding. So this was extremely nice. I'm going to try to still use it on what I have now. It does come with some sandpaper, and it's adhesive backed. The sandpaper it sticks to this 320 grit, 180 grit, and 80 grit. It wasn't too expensive either, but it was really helpful. I really like this. It's comfortable. Now going forward, I'm going to use this 800 grit sandpaper, and I bought another pad because this stuff is not adhesive, but I'm going to try to use it with this. So what I have to do now is pull all this primer down as flat as possible, before I can lay that single stage paint down. This whole car is single stage, so if you have a base coat, clear coat finish, I can't help you because that's something I have never done before. And again, I don't know if I should be helping anybody anyway on this stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 800 grit. I bought a little sprayer at my HEB grocery store, and I'm going to use the sprayer, put some water down on this, and then we're just going to lightly sand until we get it as smooth as possible before we lay some paint down. So let's see how that works out, if I can use this or not. Let's see if I can bend it over. Hey, I might be able to use that after all, especially if I, yep. Maybe like this, and like that. Yeah, I can hang on to that and use it. I think I'm gonna try. So let me get some water down here. We'll get the sanding. What do you think, Kuda? There we go. Yeah, it works pretty good. Be nicer if it was adhesive back, but I'll take what I can get. But yeah, I'm definitely wet sanding on this pass. Alright, it's going to be a lot more of this. Okay, I think I'm ready for paint here. I did the 800 wet sand, and it's super smooth. It looks like you could pick up stuff there, but you can't, so that's good. Yeah, I think I'm ready to go. I'm gonna tape it off. I'm gonna use this again as a character line because that's gonna save me from really looking bad, because I have a feeling if I tried to blend this whole area in, you would see the spot coming over. If I stay with this character line, it's going to be a little bit less obvious. And obviously the fender's a character line. Man, this paint looks fantastic in the camera, but it's not great. It's a single stage like Mako paint job. You can see down in here they didn't like pull the bumpers off. So I mean, it's not a beautiful paint job. It's a cool car, it's a driver, and that's why I'm trying to fix it myself. We're gonna see how this works out, and I'll be excited to do this. To clean it off, all I kind of have is this glass cleaner, but it's a alcohol cleaner, so it does clean really well, and pulls all the stuff off the surface. So I'm gonna go get, actually I'm gonna tape this up again quick, get it ready for paint, and then I'm gonna go get the paint and everything, and I'll show y'all that whole setup, because I don't have a gun. I'm gonna use what's called a pre-val, and we're gonna cross our fingers that it works. So let me tape this up, and then we'll go get that, and then we'll get ready to paint. Here's what we're working with. This is what's called a pre-val system. And this is just the box, but let me show you a little bit better. The pre-val system has a little jar and a basically compressed air cylinder and a siphon. And this turns basically any of your liquid style paint into spray paint. And I used this to paint the firewall in the car previously, so I know it works pretty good. This is the paint that we're going to be using. I kind of already got it cracked open. I got it mixed up real good. This is an acrylic enamel single stage paint. And the last time I painted with a single stage paint, it was urethane. This is my understanding. I'm not sure if I'm 100% true, but from what I understand, the enamel doesn't require a hardener or any thinner to spray. The urethane does. The guy at the paint shop said that this should go straight into here and get ready to spray. But if you are using a urethane, you're gonna have to use a hardener and a thinner to spray it. So we're gonna find out. I'm about to pour this in here and get it ready to spray on the Bel Air. See how well this goes. This could get really messy, but we're gonna find out. Put this old blue towel underneath there because it'll probably be a mess. Yep, big mess. That's probably way more than what I'm going to need at all. Let me get a paper towel. We'll get that done. We'll get this on here. Cool. All right, I'm gonna wipe it down one more time. Some of the alcohol spray, also known as glass cleaner. And I'm just going one way. I don't want to go back and forth. All right. Last thing I'm going to do is use this tack cloth, which should take any just junk off the paint before we get ready to spray. And it's tacky, like it says, so. There we go. All right, it is tacky, it's all over my hand. Okay, I'm gonna start right here just to kind of test it, but we're gonna try to kind of come out with it. So a little heavier in the middle and coming out. Both sides. Here we go. So it's spraying out a little funny. I feel like it needs to be thinned a little bit. I'm gonna see if I have some. All right, here goes past 2. All right, I added a little reducer. We'll see how that helps. It's just spraying kind of funny. It's one of those things where I feel like I'm gonna keep going with it because I'm already here. I might have to wet sand it. Well, we'll see what happens. I can definitely see through it because I can see the primer area there. But it's one color again. Okay, so talking to my paint friend, I probably should have called and found out. Acrylic enamel is probably not the best idea. It's probably better to go with a urethane. But I'm already here. It looks better than primer. And we got a couple coats on it. So I'm gonna wait just a couple more minutes and I'll go ahead and give another coat out there. And then I'll do that a couple more times. It's kind of flattening out, which is good. It's gonna be at least 2 more coats, I think. And then it looks like it's very, very greedy, I guess you could say. So what I'm probably gonna do is keep doing this, and then we're gonna let it dry and probably let it cure for about a month. And then I'll come back and wet sand it and see if I can't get all that out of there. But yeah, we're getting it. Well, I'm figuring it out, I think, so. How bad could I screw this up? Kind of bad. Kind of bad. And you can see all that like bumpiness in the paint. That's what's wrong. Now, I don't know if it's gonna flash and level out. I will say the color is pretty darn good, but I think I should have used urethane with the thinner and a hardener, especially spraying with the pre-val. Yeah, we're just gonna have to kind of watch it and see what happens. So I'm gonna come back out here in 2 hours, and then I'm gonna pull the tape. Kind of go from there. I want to say it doesn't look bad, but it looks bad. But like, it could be a whole lot worse as far as like if the color was way off. So I think that's a good thing. But the problem with enamel is it's not very hard, and it takes a while to harden up and to be able to sand it. So I'm gonna have to kind of let this be what it is for a little while, and then wait for about a month and wet sand it. So let's just do this. Come back in 2 hours, we'll pull the tape, and then we'll see where we're at. We'll see what we're working with, and we'll do an update, and well, yeah, that'll be a good stopping point for that. So see you in a couple hours. I got a little dinner in me, and the more this sets, the better it looks. Still not awesome, and it may be because I try to use that pre-val instead of buying a gun and doing it the right way. It's definitely shiny, but it's time to pull the paper, because about 2 hours after. So let's pull the paper and see how obvious it is. Color match looks pretty good. The spray pattern does not. But in all honesty, it's probably salvageable. I laid enough paint down that I can wet sand this dude out and maybe get it all smooth again. I'm glad I tried it anyway. You know, it wasn't a success. I did mess it up. But I got to learn some things, and sometimes you got to screw some things up to learn some things, and I'm glad I did it. This car is not a perfect car. There's chips all over it. You know, they didn't pull the bumpers off when they painted it. I think it's a Mako paint job. But I love this car, and I drive it a lot, and it looks good. Considering what it is. It's kind of like an unrestored car, and you know, it looks good enough to drive it around and enjoy it, and it's that kind of season, so at least I don't mind driving it around like this until this paint hardens up. That's fine with me. But it's the perfect car for me to attempt something like this. So now I know that next time maybe I need to get some urethane paint with a hardener and a thinner, and I also probably need to get a paint gun, because it's probably going to be a whole lot better. Will I learn to blend really well? I don't know. I think that's an art that you just gotta learn and master, and it takes some time, but I'm willing to kind of try some things, because I do eventually want to try to do some of my own paint and body work, especially like with the Dakota. So, you know, you gotta try these things sometimes, and on a vehicle like this, it's the perfect canvas, I guess you could say. And I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it'll even get better overnight. But that's it. I'm gonna leave you guys off there. If you're new to the channel and you know, you like the content, we got all kinds of stuff. Twin turbo Dakotas and nitrous Dakotas and Novas that we're gonna build motors for. And then this thing, which is just a whole nother can of worms. Basically, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of projects to work on, and if you'd like to follow along on these projects, we'd love to have you. Please consider subscribing and hanging out with us. If you already have subscribed, thank you guys so much. it definitely makes this all worthwhile. So anyway, I'm gonna leave y'all off there, and I will probably do a follow-up video when we wet sand that spot and see how it turns out, you know. So thanks a lot for checking out the video, and we'll see you next time. Until next time, you know the deal. Y'all be good.